Yeah, I was born in North Vancouver and raised there, lived all my life there, and went to school and actually graduated from school there. Had great parents. They raised me in the Anglican church. My dad didn't go to church, but my mom did faithfully, and when I became a teen, I left the church and sort of did my own thing. Yeah, after we got married, we worked for a bit on the mainland, and then I moved over to Vancouver Island. I came over here, and I took an apprenticeship as a machinist, and we lived in the Duncan area. In December 20th, 1980, we went to a Christmas cantata at the Duncan Pentecostal Church, where at the end of that musical, I wound up giving my life to the Lord. The pastor, Roy Webb, asked if there was anybody there that wanted to give their life, want that life that the choir had sung about. At the Duncan Church, I gave my life to Christ, and at that night that I did that, there was an incredible change in my life. Our marriage was a mess. That night, things started to change. God took away my foul mouth instantly, and He started to work on my anger. I had a huge anger issue, and our finances were a mess, and we started to tithe, and God worked on our finances, and we just watched God minister there. I had a huge struggle with pornography, and at that time, it sort of got it under control, but it was always there, underlying all the time, and it would always pop up its ugly head once in a while. But things really started to change at that time. I was called into the ministry. I went to Bible college in 1984, and we went to Western Pentecostal Bible College, and at that time knew that we were going to go into the ministry. The first church we went to was Kimberley. I was a senior pastor in Kimberley. I don't know if I was even ready to be a lead pastor at that time. The stress of running a church and that was a little more than I could handle, I think. I felt quite alone there. The issues of pornography were still there, and they started to grow, started to creep into my life more and more, and didn't feel I could really share that with anyone. I had an associate pastor, but I thought because I was the senior and lead pastor that I was supposed to have it all together, and that I should just not share it with him. Didn't think I could share with Cathy, because I thought at that time that there was too much hurt there for her.
Why didn't we talk about it? Well, I think that because I didn't really understand it, and I wasn't sure of everything that was going on.
And I think you were also fearful of my reaction, of how I'd react if you brought it up.
Yeah, that could be true too. I just don't think we knew how to bridge that subject.
We pastored in Kimberley for about 5 years. The pornography issue became greater and greater as time went on. In 1992, we resigned from the church there, and at that time I put myself in a compromising situation where I fell to temptation and had a moral failure. From there, I lied about it to try and cover it up and try to keep things from surfacing. I actually hurt a lot of people in the line, and then from there we moved to plant a church in Chase.
We had been in Chase for close to 5 years before that actually came out. So it was very crushing time for me personally to find out that Scott had lied about that moral failure in those 5 years.
I lied about it, and then so as I was pastoring in Chase, I kept it hidden, and so I lived under that burden of guilt, knowing that was there all the time. And we were in Chase for, like Cathy said, 5 years. Then we went to a special meeting in Bethel in Kamloops, which is now called Gateway. At that meeting, there was a word given that there was somebody with hidden sin in their life. And it was at that time I knew I couldn't hide it anymore. Well, after that night, when I talked to Cathy, I knew she was really hurting, and was fearful that she would leave and take the kids, and that would be the end. I'd lose my ministry, I'd lose my family, but Cathy assured me that we were going to get through this together with God's help.
Through all of this, I really learned that God was bigger and able to do far more than I could even imagine.
There was times when I was angry, thought that I could do it on my own, but quickly realized that I couldn't. First and foremost, I needed God in my life in a more powerful way, a closer relationship. I saw God work in my life. I saw healing taking place. I phoned every person I could think of that I'd lied to in the situation and apologized and found real freedom. God had loosed me, and it wasn't in the dark anymore. It wasn't hidden. The enemy couldn't use it on me anymore. And so I just came to a place of freedom. Did it happen instantaneously? No, but it happened, and God was very faithful through those 2 years. I carry a huge concern for those who are caught in addictions and caught with hidden sin, because hidden sin just keeps us trapped, and we live in darkness, and the enemy keeps us enslaved. And I know there's a hope, and I know there's a freedom. I know that life can be much better when we allow God to enter in.
How's our marriage today? It is very strong. When we met, we were just such opposites. And now, after 38 years, 39 this year, we're quite a lot alike, well, except for the hair and the beard. We have a very strong marriage. Scott, quite a few years ago, it was his goal that every year on our anniversary, he would be able to say, that was the best year we've had. And I believe that we've accomplished that. Every year we work on our marriage. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. We're not perfect, so there's not going to be a perfect marriage. But we work hard, and we know who our strength is. We know who our source is, our refuge, and we go to God for every problem, big or small. And we don't try to hide anything. We deal with things right away. So we have a very strong marriage now.
Our marriage is better than it's ever been, and it just gets better. I would say this is a good news story, without a doubt. It is a great story. It is a story of coming from the bottom when I didn't have to be at the bottom, but I wound up falling to the bottom and coming out the other end with God's help. Is this a story that I want to share? Not really, because it brings up pain. But if it will help somebody else, that's important. It is, without a doubt, a good news story.